Alright, I would like to talk about exaltation and debilitation. Before I get to that, first I want to talk about the terminology that alchemy uses and that the Bible uses, say as compared to traditional astrology or even the Vedic. When a planet is square in the Vedic or tropical, it's on the same cross in alchemy. If it's trine, that means it's in the same element. Now, let's take Mercury. Let's start on the inside. We'll just do them all. Mercury happens to be exalted right now in his own house. He's the only planet that is exalted in his own house. He is debilitated in the opposite house. A planet is always debilitated opposite of its exaltation. So Mercury exalted here, this is his apex, as most favorable, most strongest. And as he moves, it's like it's kind of like the way the moon works from a new moon to a full moon, right? So this is full moon for him, apex. And as he goes down, he's descending. Now he's a waning. It's like a waning moon. As he comes out of exaltation, he begins waning down to debilitation in Pisces. And then when he comes out of Pisces, he begins waxing to exaltation back to Virgo. So you can look at the strength of a planet in each constellation determined by its exaltation and debilitation. Did you understand what I just said? It's like the phases of the moon. He's most strong here. He's going to be of equal strength in Libra and Leo, coming in, going out. Venus. Venus is debilitated in Virgo, but exalted in the opposite Pisces. These two planets work like this all the way around. They're opposite each other. So Venus is debilitated here. She's at her lowest point. So when she comes out, even though this is her house and she rules Libra, she's only a little bit stronger. And a little bit stronger. And a little bit stronger. Till she gets over here in Mercury's house, and then she's exalted. Most powerful, most favorable. And then it begins to wane off until she goes back into debilitation. Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So this is his most powerful. And now Mars, because Mars is action, when Mars comes out of debilitation, he's a little bit different than the other planets. I'll show you. Because he's action. But he is exalted here. And then he gets a little weaker, a little weaker, a little weaker, even in his own house. Till he comes to Cancer. And he's debilitated in Cancer. That means the debilitation means most weak. He's at his weakest point. And he's kind of held back here. So because Mars is action, when he comes out of Cancer, he comes out like a roaring lion. He's like a horse in a horse race that's in the gate. And when the bell rings, they open the gate and they all start running out. That's how he is coming out of debilitation. The other planets, not so much. But because he's action, right? He's motion, action, and emotion. He's not just physical motion and action. He is spiritual and emotional motion and action. So he works like that. The inner planets, those are the ones that affect us the most. Is our emotions, our heart, and our minds, our logic and intelligence, our thinking capability, our reasoning, our intellect. Or is that supposed to be two different things? Jupiter. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So Jupiter is most powerful, most favorable when he's in Cancer. And then he, little bit less, all the way to Capricorn. And debilitated here. Stripped of power. And then he starts gaining, little stronger. You could actually do a graph or a chart, and you can overlay each planet with like a number, and it would show you like when planets come together in a sign, what is their power strength, right? Do it like a video game. That'd be awesome if somebody would do an astrology video game. You'd have to do the 12 houses of the zodiac, which that's what all video games are anyway. That's what all stories are. There's no story that's never been told that's not in these stars. Not one. Everything is a forgery. Everything has been hijacked. It's repeat and repeat, especially in this age. Saturn. Saturn is exalted in Libra, the most high of the heavens. And then little weaker, even in his own house. He's stronger, more favorable in Libra. All the way to Aries, Libra's opposite. And then he goes back. He's debilitated here. You know, Taurus is Africa. The Pleiades is the flock. The Hebrews come out of Africa into Asia, and they're worshiping the god of fire. And Saturn is debilitated here. You clearly see the difference in these gods. But Saturn is on the same cross with the ram. The ram and the goat are on the same cross, cardinal. So Saturn gets a little stronger here. Saturn really likes being in Taurus. One, it's Venus's house. They get along very well. This is the right hand of the Messiah. So when Saturn is ruling Venus and Taurus is in favor, and matter of fact, I don't recall that any of the planets don't like being here. All of them, no planet is debilitated in Taurus. In alchemy, the sun and the moon are not exalted or debilitated. Neither are the outer planets. If anything, the sun and the moon are exalted in their own houses and debilitated in the opposite of Aquarius and Capricorn. And that day you'll have no need of the sun opposite Aquarius or the moon opposite Capricorn, for I will be with you, Saturn. Does that make sense to you? Do you see how the Bible reads like an astrology, an alchemically encoded astrology book? So you understand the days? I've learned to do it in all of the star lore. You have to know their stories, their legends. The legends of the Arabic is not the Quran. It's the Arabian Nights. That's their astrology. It's in the Quran now, but this is much older. It's like Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the illuminated mind, the philosopher, the sage of Terra, the shaman, the enlightened mind. And it's philosophy and ideology. And when we think of philosophy and ideology, we think of the Greeks, right? Plato, Socrates, that whole bunch. And then we think of the modern day, Freud, Jung, Goethe, Descartes, Nietzsche. But in alchemy, it's older than both of those traditions. It is the sage of Terra, the shaman of the earth, the illuminated mind, the shaman. And a much older tradition. And they were the ones that every tribe on the planet was given a plant. And that's how they illuminated their mind, the holy man, or the medicine man, the shaman. But you have to know the legends and know the differences between them. And that's where alchemy comes in. Because once you learn the alchemy, it works in every language. It works in every tradition. It surpasses them all. I truly believe that when the Bible says, in that day I will restore unto you a more perfect language, that it will be alchemy. And that's why they're so busy perverting it. Because Aquarius is about alchemy, astrology, karma, the self-martyr, the king. There's so many stories. The water bearer, the prophet, the priest, and the king, the triple crown. Somebody asked me, what is the dolphin? What is the dolphin? Second one of the sittings. Third one of the sittings. Fourth one of the sittings. They're going to hide that name. Dolphin, it's a play on words. It means heir to the throne. And then here's the flying eagle, not to be confused with Scorpio, which is an eagle. It's an eagle with a serpent in its claws. They're trying to make this one the eagle with the serpent. See? He reaches for it here, but down here he has it. In the Arabic, they don't even have Libra. It's just gone. They just put a placeholder here. This is a much older, and it's not really Arabic. I mean, we get it out of the Arabic, but you can clearly see this is Oriental. The Orient. Asia always belonged to the Orient, to the yellow people. Africa belongs to the black people on the wheel. Europe belongs to the white people. And South America belongs to the red people. Now South America and North America are one. They're one house now. It's Pan America. They took that away from us. Life was good here when we had Pan American Highway, and now they've changed the name of it. And we had Pan Am Airlines. They took away Pan, gave us Baphomet, which it's ironic because Baphomet is also a play on words. It's the 216. It's the Fabian Society flipped. BAF and FAB. That's 216. That's their magic number for God. 216 and 144 makes a perfect circle. But this is Altair, this eagle. about this a lot. It keeps coming up in my mind. I keep getting it downloaded about Gate World, and in Stargate SG-1, as it progressed, and at the end they were going to Gate World, to where the ancients were from, and all the little clues they left through SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis and all of it. It's Altair is the home of Gate World. One of the balances. This used to, you'll see balances a lot. So when this eagle was in play, it was on one of the cardinal points, the axis galaxia, instead of the axis mundi, axis of the world, the axis of the galaxy, axis galaxia. But the pictures in the Arabic are actually more accurate. Like here, Taurus, right? This is where Taurus ends. And it is where it ends. But in ours, it's deceptive. They repainted the zodiac. And look, that's where the true line is. Straight up and down. We actually mark the heavens by the fixed cross. That's where it all starts and begins, is the 4 marking points of the heavens, the fixed cross. The mutable cross changes. They change it all the time, because that's when the change happens. But no matter what, no matter how the earth wobbles or flips or whatever, we're told it wobbles. That's the word used in the Bible, is the earth will wobble to and fro like a drunkard. And so we lose our navigation. We lose our location. So to mark the location, we have 2 things. We have the fixed heavens, the cross, the fixed cross, and then we have the equinoxes and the solstices. We have the cross at night, and in the day we have the balances of the sun, right? The solstices of the sun. But at night, they're called the guiding lights. Remember the soap opera, The Guiding Light? Did your mom watch that? There is no story that did not come from somewhere up here. It's all that ever was or ever could be in this construct. But it's the sun belt. The zodiac is called the sun belt. In the United States, we have an area they call the Sun Belt. It's where you grow everything. It's where all the farming is done. And it runs through the south, southern part of the United States, which is also the Bible Belt. You need to know that, because it has it's literally where the X marks the spot in the 2 eclipses in Kentucky is almost center Bible Belt. That's Bible Belt. It's also Tornado Alley, running through Oklahoma, all through the south, all through the Sun Belt and the Bible Belt. That's Tornado Alley. That's wind. That's air. That's air power. Pneumatic. This is nature. This is everything that is. If you want to know anything, this is what you got to know. You know, I don't even want to see how many more. I got, like, immediately before I left the library, I already had about 5 people who want to be my apprentice. let me explain what that entails, because I don't think you get it. You lose everything. You don't play this game and have a life. If you have a life, this is not for you. It's not. Number one, the apprentices always have to do the work. It's an internship. You don't get paid. You might learn along the way if you apply yourself. But this is something for somebody who's already lived their life. You've already done the married thing, the children thing, and again, you'd have to relocate. It's not something that can be done over the phone or on the computer. It would require all of your time. It's took me 55 years to get this, to really get it like I do now. And it'll do it. It's not so much I even applied myself. It was at the rate that I feel like it was being revealed to me. You don't find it, it finds you. But you can seek and you shall find. It finds you. If you're looking for it, it's looking for you. But if you're not looking for it, it's not looking for you. It's quite an amazing thing. The moon in its own house tonight. Moving along. Venus and Mars right now not in good shape. Venus debilitated, the damsel in distress, and Mars the distresser. Jupiter still in his power position in his buddy's house. Big magic for our friends in water world here. That's why the Vatican plays this. The Vatican's going to play water because that's its power. That's what it does. The rituals for fire happen in Asia or the Orient. The rituals for earth happen in Africa, North America, and Australia. The rituals for air happen in South America and Central America and India. The other red man. Most of them are mixed now too. Mixed race. Arab means mixed. Alright, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I think if I just keep repeating it, eventually it'll click for you like it did me, where the difference between square and trine and being in the same element or on the same cross. The alchemical terminology can take you through any of the traditions to where the words like trine and square, they're limited. Those words are limited. They're limited to the languages and the cultures that begot them. But alchemy can go anywhere. I can't stress how important it is. And it's a knowing. It's a knowing. Once you get it, it's a pattern. And once you see the pattern and pick up on it, and it's perfect. It never changes. This wheel is quite incredible. It really is. And there's nothing more crazy in the universe than the mutable cross. That's where all the change happens. That's where the big magic happens. But in this particular spot on the cross, where we're at right here, this last end of the Deacon of Pisces, it's the most chaotic, because this beast down here dies. It's done. They killed the big fish. It's the big fish tail. And so it's fighting for its life. It's like Jaws, right? You probably see a lot of that. They'll do the big fish movies. The Kraken, right? The Greek tale, he's the Kraken. But it's religion. And that's ruled by Jupiter. And that's what he's fighting for over here. Jupiter rules ideology and philosophy and religion. Groupthink, what you believe. That's how he stays in control. He's after your mind. And he uses desire. Right? He uses your desires against you to keep you from advancing and illuminating your mind and having the correct beliefs instead of this two-piece fish dinner. Fish and chips over there. We're moving into a much, much better world. The storyline is going to change. They can't keep doing the same old song and dance forever. Repeat and repeat's getting old. People are catching on. They're waking up. The problem is, what are they waking up to? Because there's so many lies being thrown around out there. You don't know which way is up. East is up. From our perspective, the only one that matters. The only perspective that matters in your world is yours. Your perspective and your motive is your intentions are everything in your reality. And we get fooled into thinking that other people actually matter. And in reality, they don't. Yours are unique to you. The only time they matter is if we surrender and we become part of the groupthink. But as long as you remain a sovereign individual you, then your reality is your own. And you make the decisions, not the other people around you. You're not affected by that. Your reality's not affected by them. And that's hard to do. But to me, I didn't have a problem with groupthink or being part of the crowd or whatever. It just kind of spit me out. I didn't fit in anywhere. What group? I could float from one group to another, but I couldn't be part of just one thing. I can't see taking on an identity, this identity crisis that's going on. And nobody knows who they are. And so they're trying to be what the world, what they think the world expects of them. And it's like a big joke's being played on them. And I feel real sorry for them because they are a group of really this Pluto in right here, Pluto in Libra and Scorpio, in that feathered serpent generation. And they're overly emotional. Mars rules here. And they're extremely overly emotional. And they're being 100% triggered by the subconscious. Pluto. And it's all the messed up symbolism, all the trans, everything. You know? And it was an agenda. And they told us straight up front they were going to do it. And they got our permission and agreement through the election of Obama. Obama told you he was going to be bring change, which is the transmutation, and that he kept insisting that he would have the most transparent administration ever. But what they didn't tell you is that the change they were going to bring was the fact that transparent is 2 words, not 1. And that completely changes the meaning. You know, those books can change. You can tell lies. But when you learn the alchemy, it corrects any mistakes. It's freaking self-correcting. When I make mistakes, it don't take me long to realize, oh, no, the alchemy is this. And you see it real quick. You can see through the lies really, really fast when you see the symbolism of it all, the imagery. After all, that's all your eyes can really see is imagery. All right, I'm going to cut it here. I did get a couple of donations for my move fund. Thank you very much. It usually takes me about 6 months to save up to do it, and then I generally end up giving it to the vet or the pharmacist or something. All right, thank you guys very, very much. I wanted to say that I saw a lot of comments about me feeling better too. Yeah, I am feeling better. The last time I had pneumonia, not chemical burn, real pneumonia, it took me months to get better. I was just so weak, so tired. But the air's starting to cool off here, so it's not as hot. And you guys sent me some immune boosters and these drops and stuff, and it's made all the difference in the world. I wouldn't have got this far. I couldn't have got well without you guys. So I want to tell you thank you very, very much. I love you all from the depths of my heart.